Hi, this is William Miller with Discovering America on Two Wheels, and I want to welcome you to the Brazosport Bicycle Tour. It's a 14-mile cycling tour that visits 6 sites of interest in the Brazosport area. We'll begin our tour here at C Center, Texas on Medical Drive in Lake Jackson, Texas. But before we do, we'll spend some time with orientation, safety rules and guidelines, do an equipment checkout, and then do a little practice ride so folks can get used to riding a group and riding single file one behind the other. One of the things that's required for this tour is an ANSI or Snell approved bicycle helmet, and it's highly recommended that you wear cycling gloves. One of the other things that you need to be aware of is that we'll be visiting museums, and if you're wearing cycling shoes that have the protruding clips, you might want to consider bringing another pair of shoes like sandals or something so you can go into those museums without having problems with your shoes. As I said, we'll be beginning our tour here at C Center, Texas. This is an incredible facility that was opened by Texas Parks and Wildlife in 1996 in cooperation with the Gulf Coast Conservation Association and Dow Chemical Company. It is the largest redfish hatchery in the world, and there's 36 one-acre holding ponds that are sprawled over 75 acres. We'll have a guided tour of the hatchery facility and also the wetlands area and the Andrew Sansom fishing pier. That'll be followed by a self-guided tour of the visitor center. You know, there's aquariums in there that showcase the habitat and the fish species that are on the Gulf Coast and in the Gulf of Mexico. Like I said, this is a one-of-a-kind facility, and it's a wonderful place to begin our Brazosport bicycle tour. We're inside the C Center, Texas Visitor Center, and this is just one of the many aquariums they have set up to show the habitats and the fish species of the different environments along the Gulf Coast and the Gulf of Mexico. This is the actual Gulf Aquarium. So this is one of the things you'll be seeing on the tour of C Center, Texas. There's also a number of fish mounted on the walls of the Visitor Center in C Center, Texas, which is a really neat display of some large specimens of fish that you can find in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll also visit the C Center, Texas Wetlands Walkway on our tour of C Center, Texas. This is an interpretive walkway with several information stations and actually piers that project out into the wetlands area for viewing of the different species of birds and everything that frequent the wetlands. So this will be another stop on our C Center, Texas tour. After we leave C Center, Texas, we'll proceed along the hike and bike sidewalk on Medical Drive to our next destination, which is the Specialist Monica Brown Trail at A.A. McLean Park. We'll continue down Medical Drive to a left on Canna Lane. We'll stay on the hike and bike trail until we get to A.A. McLean Park. We'll continue on the walk and cycle path that's adjacent to Canna Lane, past the baseball fields and pitching cages, to a right on Lake Road, and you can see the A.A. McLean Lake Jackson Recreation Center coming up at the corner of Lake and Canna. Okay, now we're on Lake Road. You know, one of the things that you have to be aware of on any sort of cycling tour when you're riding on a sidewalk or a path is uneven surfaces. So just look ahead and watch out for projections or uneven portions of sections of the sidewalk, and be prepared to adjust your path for those obstructions. Alright, we'll cross Lake Road right here and get back onto the walking, jogging, cycle path that will lead us into the A.A. McLean facilities. Okay, we'll access the jogging track that loops around the baseball, softball, and soccer fields at this point right here. We'll actually ride this asphalt path around to the entrance to the Specialist Monica Brown Trail. We'll loop around the playground and the auditorium facilities and the basketball courts out here at AA McLean Park before we get to the Specialist Monica Brown Trail. Okay, we're approaching the beginning of the Specialist Monica Brown Trail. You actually go over a bridge, over a canal before entering the trail. And this is an interpretive trail, and it's got wonderful signage on it that depicts the different wildlife that you may see while you're on this trail. There's places like Gator Gully, Cardinal Crossing, and Whitetail Wilderness. So I think you'll enjoy the slow roll we take along the Specialist Monica Brown Trail. I'm actually approaching the River Point Overlook, which is actually a view of the Brazos River. You know, there's also some mountain bike trails back in here too. So if you're a mountain biker, there's a loop you can do back in here. This is really a beautiful trail that a lot of people in Lake Jackson take advantage of for jogging, walking, cycling, mountain biking, bird watching, and wildlife viewing. You know, the spring colors are in full bloom out here on the Specialist Monica Brown Trail, and it's really neat because the trees almost form a canopy or a tunnel for this trail. So even in the heat of the day, it's well shaded, and it's just a pleasant place to walk or ride. You know, this is a trail through the bottom hardwood forest along Brazos River, so you may see alligators and snakes, white-tailed deer, and lots of birds. You know, this is my favorite stretch of this trail. There's beautiful bottomland woods that depict the habitat along the Brazos River bottom, and this little section right up here is called Whitetail Wilderness. You come here early in the morning or late in the evening, and you're almost guaranteed to see the white-tailed deer cross at this section of the trail. The Wildflower Meadow Loop will be the end point for a ride on the Monica Brown Trail. We'll do this loop and head back the way we came. And you can see there are folks out here taking advantage of the good weather and are jogging on the trail. Hello. Okay, as we exit AA McLean Park, we're going to take a left on the sidewalk on the south or west side of Lake and proceed down Lake on that sidewalk. It'll carry us all the way to 332. We're also going to cross Oak Drive and this way using the pedestrian walkway and signals. I'll demonstrate what we're going to do as a group when we come up to the Oak Drive signal. Okay, the first thing we'll do is hit the button for the crosswalk, and then we'll proceed across when the signal is okay to go. Just as we're doing here. This will be the same for the Oak Street crossing, and the this way street crossing. Okay, at this point on Lake Road, we're coming up behind Hobby Lobby, and we'll be approaching the intersection of 332 and Lake Road. We'll go across that intersection to meet up with 2004. Okay, when the signal is green, we'll go ahead and proceed across this intersection. You know, the protocol we're going to use for riding on any street surface is that I'm going to be to the outside in the group, and I want the line of riders to the inside so that I'm between the riders and the passing traffic. That's the protocol we'll use while we're riding on street surfaces.